And it's time now for Business News, and I'm joined in the studio by Stephen Carroll. Stephen, great to have you with us. You're starting off with the low-cost airline EasyJet, which has been seeing record losses because of this pandemic.
Carrier issuing a profit warning today for its annual results. EasyJet expecting losses of around €930 million for the year to the end of September. It'd be the first time in the company's 25-year history that it reports an annual loss. Air travel has slumped this year due to the pandemic, and airlines have been burning cash as a result. Even for the rest of this year, EasyJet's only expecting to fly a quarter of its regular capacity. Media reports in the UK say the airline has told the British government it may need more financial support. Here in France, a court has told Google that it must begin talks with news organisations about paying them for their content. The tech company had challenged a ruling by the French Competition Authority that it must negotiate with publishers over payments for showing their material. The Paris Court of Appeal upholding the watchdog's order. The decision is based on what's called neighbouring rights under revamped EU copyright rules, which allows publishers to demand a fee from online platforms that display an extract of news articles. Businesses in southern France are counting the cost of the damage caused by Storm Alex. The government has announced €100 million as a first response to the flooding, which washed away roads, bridges, and left some villages in the Alpes-Maritimes region cut off. Georgina Robertson has the story.
Houses half demolished, roads washed away, shops and businesses left devastated by Storm Alex. People are taking stock, and those like this restaurant manager are still reeling. He believes that repairs will cost around €500,000.
C'est des entreprises qu'on bichonne pendant des années. Donc c'est des travaux incessants, comme une maison, comme une bâtisse. Bon là, il y a tout à refaire, donc je ne sais pas, je ne suis pas entrepreneur, donc ça a coûté beaucoup d'argent.
In the Alpes-Maritimes region, more than 1,600 buildings have been damaged. The cost of reconstruction is estimated at €130 million. But roads and bridges also need to be rebuilt.
C'est sécuriser ces ponts parce qu'on n'a plus moyen d'accéder de l'autre côté. Et ça, c'est plus ennuyeux, quoi.
Votre commune, elle aurait les moyens d'assumer toute seule cette charge financière?
Jamais de la vie, non. La commune, elle tourne avec des frais de fonctionnement qui sont quand même pas très importants. On peut pas.
In these badly hit valleys, there is a minimum of 35 kilometres of road to be rebuilt, as well as a dozen bridges and other works of art. The cost is estimated at up to €435 million. Water pipes have also been completely destroyed in some places, and another €45 million will be needed to re-establish drinking water and drains. These works will take years to complete. The government has declared Storm Alex a natural disaster, which will facilitate insurance claims, while the state has created an initial fund of €100 million to help the region rebuild.
It appears there are still some hopes for new stimulus for the economy in the United States. Leading Democrat Nancy Pelosi and US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin discussed on Wednesday a potential rescue package for the airline industry. Tens of thousands of airline workers were temporarily laid off last week after a previous government aid package expired. President Trump had called off talks over a wider stimulus plan on Tuesday, but subsequently said that he'd be open to approving certain measures, including help for the aviation sector. Democrats and Republicans have been unable to agree on much needed aid for the US economy after months of negotiations. Those talks about stimulus are something the markets have been watching closely in the past few days. Wall Street got a boost on Wednesday on hopes that all was not lost. The optimism among investors carrying over into trading in Europe today. This is the picture on the European markets just a short time ago. Gains across London, Paris and Frankfurt. Facebook is extending a ban on political advertising until after the US election. The social network is under intense scrutiny in the run-up to November's poll after coming in for heavy criticism for the disinformation that spread on the platform in 2016. Facebook is extending a ban on political and issue-based ads in the US indefinitely after polling day. That's in an effort to limit confusion or abuse related to the election results. It had already said that it would prohibit ads in the week running up to the vote, as well as flagging any candidates' premature claims of victory. Now, local authorities across France are trying to find ways to help small businesses who've been hit during the pandemic. The town of Coutances has launched a shopping voucher scheme where public money gives customers a bonus for keeping their business local.
In the town of Coutances in northern France, a drive to encourage people to shop locally. For €25, you can buy a voucher worth 50 to spend in local businesses. The rest is coming from the town coffers. More than €350 worth of these vouchers have been spent in this shop in the past 2 weeks, a welcome boost after losing 25% of its sales since the start of the pandemic.
Ça va pas permettre de rattraper, mais ça va aider à remonter un petit peu le chiffre. Ça permet de faire des ventes additionnelles à cette période où c'est assez compliqué.
Not all shops have benefited equally from the scheme. Only €30 have been spent in this bakery. But the vouchers can be used at 200 shops in and around the town of Coutances. They were sold out in just 10 days. The town council invested €120,000 in this project.
Tous les commerçants n'ont pas pu avoir ce que j'appelle une aide de l'État, c'est-à-dire le Fonds national de solidarité. Il était hors de question qu'on les laisse, comme on dit, sur le bas-côté de la route. Donc si on veut avoir des communes qui soient dynamiques, qui soient vivantes et ainsi de suite, il fallait absolument qu'on aide à ce que ces commerçants puissent continuer à vivre décemment.
Similar schemes were put in place in several other French towns this summer, an effort to shore up local spending in the face of the massive economic crisis.
Finally, for me, an American film director has warned that going to the cinema could become extinct because of the coronavirus pandemic. This after Cineworld announced it was closing its cinemas in Britain and the United States. Patty Jenkins is the director of the new Wonder Woman film. Its release has been delayed 3 times because of the pandemic. And now she believes the whole tradition of seeing films in a movie theatre is under threat.
When you take movie theaters that were already having a hard time staying afloat, right? And you take movie studios that can potentially lose, their entire income for the year if a movie doesn't do well. Movie theaters are going to stop making movies for movie theaters if we have less of them. That's what's going to happen. If they cannot make their money back on movies, they will stop making movies for the theater and they will invest completely in streaming. And theaters will shutter and it will be gone and you won't be able to get it back.
Now, in the United States, one industry group says that more than 2/3 of small and mid-sized cinemas could be forced to file for bankruptcy because of this crisis. It's a whole tradition that could disappear.
Do you remember the last time you went to the cinema?
It was not in 2020, I can tell you that much.
Oh, wow. I think mine was earlier in January. Stephen Carroll, thank you so much for that business update. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned